I cannot wait to get that version of Karl Anderson back. In case you've been living under a rock the past week, WWE fired enough people to form their own promotion, and at the top of that list is Gallows and Anderson. The sudden release caused Karl Anderson to so quickly change his Twitter name to Machine Gun Karl Anderson while posting a video that contained New Japan commentary and was a teaser that he could be joining New Japan in the near future. Gallows also posted an old picture of him in his New Japan gear, only adding more fuel to those rumors. And it looks like the Good Brothers might be headed for a New Japan return. And to me, those two things only show that they're really excited for what's next for them, because we know their WWE run didn't go that great. They weren't terrible, but the run was so inconsistent. Sometimes they were tag champions, sometimes they weren't on TV at all. And when they won matches, they weren't even really that dominant, so things got a little hokey at times as well, and it was really uneven and it left a lot to be desired. But that's behind them, and now the Good Brothers are looking for their next stop, and it appears that it's likely going to be New Japan Pro Wrestling. Don't be surprised if they do show up in AEW. Let's not forget, Matt Hardy worked all of us teasing that he was going to be the Exalted One, and that didn't happen. So all I'm saying is just keep that in the back of your mind, because you never know when it could be a swerve. If you didn't watch them in New Japan, then their run there compared to WWE was night and day. In New Japan, they were booked exactly how you would want them to be booked. A really dominant tag team. They were a part of the most popular stable while they were there, and they were really good. So I think fans of New Japan would welcome them back, and I think they'd get big reactions even though they're supposed to be heels and they should be brought back as heels. I think fans all around would get excited for their return. The only thing I'm wondering is how they would fit into Bullet Club. I like that adding them to Bullet Club makes the group larger, because I think that having that paint by numbers, strength in numbers, whatever you want to call it, I think that that works for them because they're heels and they just have so many guys who can interfere in their matches. I don't think that that would be a problem. Plus, since they're already former members, I think that's not a problem. But it's where you consider where they would fit and Guerrillas of Destiny would fit, being two heavyweight tag teams. GOD's been one of the top tag teams in New Japan for a long time, so it would be tough to just take them out of the picture and put Gallows and Anderson in them without them both kind of getting in each other's way. Like, it almost feels like if you want Gallows and Anderson to be a big part of the tag team division in New Japan, I don't know if GOD can be a part of it at the same time. Now, I'm sure the company could figure something out, how they want to book them, what direction they might take them, but I just don't want to see them kind of get in each other's way. Now, I know Gallows and Anderson were a tag team that was a big part of the stable even while the Young Bucks were there, but the difference is that Gallows and Anderson were in the heavyweight division while Matt and Nick Jackson were in the junior heavyweight tag division, so that fine line kind of helped the group in that way. Then it wasn't until Gallows and Anderson left that the Bucks could work their way into the heavyweight tag team division to represent Bullet Club. But then when you look at AEW as the other option, because let's face it, it's going to come down to New Japan or AEW, that kind of still is the same problem. If Gallows and Anderson did sign with AEW, it's likely that they would go to the Elite because of their relationship with the Young Bucks. And if that were the case, then the same problem would still exist. You'd have two top tag teams in one stable, and it'd be tough to book them. Now, if you wanted to, you could separate them from the Elite and let them be heels on their own, but I think that they just work so much better in a stable. In WWE, we saw them with AJ Styles as the OC. Temporarily, they were with Finn Balor, guest Balor Club, if you want to call it that. But they never really became a stable. They just were like three guys who were friends. To me, a stable needs to be a little bit bigger than three people, and I always believed that if you included them and maybe someone else, maybe AJ Styles, Finn Balor would be the one to benefit from it, and I just thought that that would be a great option, and I still think it would. But of course, it didn't happen. So in New Japan, they can go right back into Bullet Club, and maybe they can even be an enforcer for Jay White or Kenta. I know New Japan doesn't do a lot of screwy finishes where they have outside interference, and that's a great thing. I'm not complaining at all. But they can just kind of serve as those bodyguards for Jay White or Kenta, get thrown out, occasionally interfere, and I just think that that would be a really great option. I think injecting themselves into either of those guys' business would take their narrative away from the tag team division and the tag title and focus more on getting one of those individuals over. Because at this point in their careers, Gallows and Anderson have nothing left to prove. Yeah, their WWE run didn't go that great, but I don't think a lot of fans are going to care when they look at them, when they consider what they did prior to their WWE run. They were awesome in Bullet Club, and if they went back, their status would be solidified, and I don't think they'd have any problems whatsoever getting over. And while going after the tag titles would definitely be something you would do with them, they don't need to be chasing them all the time. And I think using them to get other guys in the group over would only be extremely purposeful. And my last reason why I think they should join New Japan instead of AEW is because AEW had a lot of people debut recently. Matt Hardy and Brody Lee debuted on the same day. Lance Archer just recently debuted. Brian Cage could eventually debut. They'll probably sign the Revival. That's a lot of names, and when you bring in guys all the time, it starts to make these debuts feel less special. And if the Revival do sign, then that's just another tag team you're putting into the fold, and it's really hard to get two tag teams over at the same time. But you never know, it could still happen because the Revival don't have a 90-day no-compete clause, while the Good Brothers do, and that could space out their debuts, but I still think it's a little too soon. Plain and simple, I just think fans are more ready for them in New Japan than they are in AEW. I think there's more they can do, and I think they'll be booked even better. And it'll allow Karl Anderson to go on a singles run if they choose to do so. And why wouldn't they want to go somewhere where they could be most versatile? So even though there could be challenges with the booking if they were in New Japan with GOD, I still think it would work, and I just think they'd figure it out because I think fans are going to be very receptive to them. But that's enough of what I think. Let me know in the comment section where you think the Good Brothers should sign. Also, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more content just like this. You can also follow me on Twitter at @A_Barragato. But for now, I'm Anthony, and thank you for watching.